welcome to the deep dive. You sent us a remarkable stack of sources, and they detail a major geopolitical transformation that's really reshaping the power dynamics in South Asia.
It's a big one.
Yeah, we're diving into Bangladesh, a nation that, has historically been seen mostly through the lens of development aid.
Right.
But that view is changing, and fast. It's now emerging as a really pivotal strategic player, right there in the Bay of Bengal and the whole Indo-Pacific.
This is a huge shift in perception, and you're right, our sources absolutely confirm it. That traditional narrative of Bangladesh as just a recipient nation is completely outdated.
So what's the news story?
The evidence shows the European Union and its members now officially see Dhaka not just as a trading partner, but as a critical key partner. I mean, that's the term they use. Essential for joint security, for prosperity in the region.
And what's driving this isn't just, polite diplomacy. The surprise here is the sheer scale and, frankly, the sophistication of Dhaka's strategy. We're talking advanced European defense deals, massive infrastructure investment, and a really intelligent balancing act. So our mission today is to decode what analysts are calling Dhaka's 360-degree diplomacy.
That phrase is perfect. It really gets to the heart of it.
We need to understand how they're actively managing these huge relationships with Europe, China, Turkey, to avoid getting, overly dependent on any single regional power.
And that's it. 360-degree diplomacy shows that the leadership in Dhaka, especially since 2024, is deliberately, methodically diversifying its partnerships. This isn't passive, it's not neutrality, it's active strategic flexibility.
All to maximize their own independence.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's start where this European engagement gets most dramatic, most tangible. I'm talking about the defense implications.
Yeah.
The sources point to a major strategic partnership, specifically with Italy.
Right, the Eurofighter Typhoon deal. And this is a complete game changer. In December 2025, Dhaka signed what's called a letter of intent, an LOI, with Italy's Leonardo to get these advanced jets.
And how many are we talking about?
The initial plan, we understand, is for around a dozen aircraft.
And here's where the real surprise lands, at least for me. This deal makes Bangladesh the first country outside of Europe and the Middle East to acquire the Eurofighter.
That's the key nugget. This isn't some off-the-shelf purchase of older gear. It shows a deep and growing military relationship with Italy. It gives Dhaka a top-tier Western-supplied air force.
But the true strategic depth, it seems, is in the why. The rationale behind choosing this specific jet.
This is the real aha moment for the analysts watching this. When you look at the region, you see that Bangladesh is deliberately picking a fighter jet that is not operated by the Indian Air Force.
And India's main Western fighter is the French Rafale.
Precisely.
So choosing the Eurofighter Typhoon, it's a conscious move to maintain strategic distance.
Yeah.
If they'd bought the same thing as their very powerful neighbor, they'd become dependent.
Instantly dependent on shared training, shared logistics, maybe even shared maintenance.
It's a high-level play for strategic autonomy.
A calculated one, absolutely. By getting unique equipment, they build their own independent supply chain. They maintain sovereign capabilities. It's a signal to everyone that Bangladesh plans to chart its own course.
And this focus on the Bay of Bengal is clearly a wider European priority.
Yeah.
Italy is leading on the jet deal, but the sources also point to the UK making parallel efforts.
Oh, absolutely. We saw the 5th UK-Bangladesh strategic dialogue back in September 2023, and now there are plans for an official UK-Bangladesh defense dialogue.
That's about integration.
It is. It's all about integrating Dhaka's really critical strategic location into that wider Indo-Pacific security framework that, the UK and the EU are more and more focused on.
So we've got Italy and the UK focusing on defense. But Germany's role, according to what you said, is different. Still foundational, but different.
Right. Germany is still one of the largest development partners. So you could say, while Italy provides the hardware, Germany is providing the software. Focusing on sustainable growth, climate resilience, social inclusion. It's an unwavering commitment to the nation's development backbone. And it really shows the clear division of labor inside what they call Team Europe.
Let's unpack that structure then. Team Europe. It's the mechanism for the EU's Global Gateway program in Bangladesh. For anyone not familiar, what does that actually look like on the ground?
Just think of it as coordinated financial muscle. Team Europe is where EU institutions, member states, Germany, France, Italy, and the big development banks all pool their money.
So instead of a dozen small, separate projects.
Exactly. They coordinate for one massive joint effort. The impact is much bigger.
And the scale of the money here is not small.
Not at all.
Yeah.
We are talking about $306 million in grants just for the 2021 to 2024 period. And there's another $164 million already pledged for 2025 through 2027.
And this isn't just basic aid, right?
No, it's targeted grant funding, aimed squarely at climate resiliency, critical connectivity, and essential infrastructure, the stuff that underpins the whole economy.
And one of the most tangible projects, one that really affects millions of people, seems to be the focus on water systems in Dhaka.
Correct. The European Investment Bank, the EIB, which is the EU's long-term lending arm, is a huge player here. In 2025, they committed another $160 million to completely overhaul Dhaka's water infrastructure.
And that means new treatment plants, distribution networks.
All of it. Massive new projects.
Why is this one water investment so strategic for Europe?
Well, first, it directly benefits over 10 million residents, but the key really is resiliency. The project forces a crucial shift.
From what to what?
It moves Dhaka's water source away from overdrawn, totally unsustainable groundwater and toward climate-resilient surface water. This stabilizes the capital, improves hygiene, reduces public health risks. It's a foundational geopolitical investment in stability.
And this is truly a Team Europe effort, we should say. We see France's Development Agency, AFD, and Germany's State Bank, KfW, co-financing these things. It's a robust partnership.
Very. And beyond water, there's also a big focus on rail.
For their export economy, right? Improving logistics must be a top priority.
It's paramount. So you see the EIB stepping up again. $132 million OPIR four-year loan financed the double tracking of the Laxam-Okara rail line,
Which is part of that vital Dhaka to Chittagong corridor.
the main artery, plus other upgrades to the Laxam-Chattagram line. It all strengthens trade routes and makes the country a more reliable global manufacturing hub.
It's clear that Team Europe isn't just about concrete and steel, though. The money also flows into human capital.
Oh, absolutely. You have projects like Pathways to Prosperity, co-funded by the EU and UK. It directly targets 12 of the poorest, most climate-vulnerable districts. The goal is building long-term livelihoods.
And what about education and health?
Yep. There are grants improving vocational education and essential health tracking systems, like the EU-funded National Information Platform for Nutrition, the NIPN.
What does that do?
It gives policymakers really granular data on malnutrition so they can design social programs that actually work.
The breadth of this is just impressive. It goes right down to everyday issues like road safety.
That's where you see an organization like BRACE Europe get involved. They run comprehensive traffic safety training. Our sources say that by 2024, they had trained nearly 4,700 commercial drivers.
Wow.
And, get this, over 500,000 students nationwide in crash prevention. It just shows how European involvement touches everything from high-end defense tech to grassroots quality of life improvements.
Okay, let's pivot back to the master strategy, that 360-degree diplomacy. We've established Dhaka is diversifying its partners. But how do they manage the friction? How do you accept Italian Eurofighters while at the same time embracing huge Chinese investment?
That is the question. And it's the essence of the whole strategy. It means they consciously welcome Chinese investment in ports and heavy infrastructure.
Moves which, the sources note, definitely raise eyebrows in Delhi.
For sure. But they need that capital for rapid development, so they take the huge infrastructure funding from the east.
Okay, and what about from other directions?
At the same time, they've invited Turkish defense cooperation. They're even talking about setting up joint defense production facilities.
And Turkish firms are already building things there.
Big things, like Dhaka's metro and the Parliament House. So this creates a sort of a triad of external partners. You have the East with China, the West with Europe, and a key Islamic middle power in Turkey.
That sounds like an incredibly high-wire balancing act. Doesn't that carry huge risks? I mean, what if relations between two of their partners, say Europe and China, suddenly get worse?
That is the primary risk, no question. But Dhaka's calculus seems to be that the benefits of diversification outweigh the risk of relying on just one major power.
And this is where Europe fits in so perfectly.
This is Europe's strategic sweet spot. EU policy stresses that middle powers like Italy or Germany offer niche tech and, crucially, carry fewer historical or geopolitical conflicts in South Asia, not like the US or China or India.
So the European value proposition is crystal clear. They bring tech and funding, often with strong standards attached, without expecting deep allegiance against another power.
Precisely. European engagement gives Dhaka alternatives. alternative technology, alternative funding, all under, democratically aligned frameworks. It's a portfolio approach that acts as a strategic check.
A check on whom?
On anyone, really. It ensures no single regional power, whether that's Beijing or Delhi, can exert too much influence over Dhaka's future. The strategy is self-preservation through having as many options as possible.
We've established that Bangladesh is seen now as a sophisticated, modern partner. But this importance, it isn't just a 21st century thing, is it? We have to connect this back to Dhaka's history.
You absolutely have to. The region has been a key global hub for centuries. I mean, go back to the 17th century. Dhaka was the powerful capital of Mughal Bengal, known worldwide for its exquisite muslin cotton.
Right. Muslin was basically the high-tech luxury good of its day, a textile so fine it was legendary.
It really was. If you look at records from medieval travelers like Ibn Battuta, he wrote that Bengali cloth was so valuable it was sent as royal gifts all the way to Chinese emperors.
So that legacy of trade, openness, and entrepreneurial dynamism, that's sort of in the DNA of the modern economy.
It is the DNA. And it brings us right to the ready-made garment industry, the RMG industry, that took off in the 1980s.
That RMG boom sparked what was a genuine homegrown industrial revolution.
It did. It transformed millions of rural migrants into this massive, skilled urban workforce. It fueled explosive growth. Dhaka's metro area now has over 18 million people. It's an incredible engine.
And that legacy of industrial success, combined with that demographic energy, is exactly what makes Dhaka such a valuable and necessary partner for the EU today. Europe isn't just investing in potential. They're investing in proven success, both historical and modern.
So, to synthesize what we've unpacked here, Bangladesh is pulling off a successful shift in its global identity.
Yeah, absolutely is.
It's moving from being seen as a development aid recipient to becoming a key, sophisticated strategic node in the Indo-Pacific. It's leveraging high-end European defense tech, huge infrastructure finance from Team Europe, all while actively balancing rival powers.
China, India, Turkey.
Yeah.
It's managing all of them through this 360-degree diplomacy.
It's a masterclass in global statecraft, really, and that commitment to independence is real. It's proven by them buying advanced defense gear specifically not used by their neighbors.
It's not just talk.
No, it's action. And this whole balancing strategy raises a fascinating and I think a critical question for the future.
Which is?
If Dhaka keeps successfully using these diverse European, Chinese, and Turkish interests to fund its growth and protect its sovereignty, could this 360-degree diplomacy become a model for other emerging nations?
A playbook, you mean? For other countries caught between the world's competing spheres of influence.
Exactly. Could this be how mid-sized, strategically important economies navigate this messy, multipolar world and avoid having to pick a side?
A question that deserves some deep consideration. Thank you for sharing these sources with us and for taking this deep dive into Bangladesh's really sophisticated strategic pivot.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you.